Hey folks, Cam Hawkins here from Trading Up. Welcome to the show. Now this is something a little bit new, a little bit different for the channel, but I'm going to be bringing you guys regular crypto updates, with the first coming out here from Nathan Sage. So this is going to be a regular thing with different guests coming on here to give you some expert opinion and knowledge about the crypto market. So for all you crypto nuts out there, this is Crypto Nut. Let's get on with it. Nathan's going to share some amazing things that I've never heard of before around how you can actually predict what's going to happen within these markets. Stuff that you don't hear out in the public and stuff that really drives the crypto market. So let's get on with the show and hear from Nathan.
Hi, my name is Nathan Sage and I'm from Sage Strategies. I've been a professional fund manager for many years. I literally traded billions in other people's money. My main focus right now is on crypto. This has been the best performing asset of all time, Bitcoin specifically. The market is going crazy out there. People are making insane amounts of money. And what I want to do today is just give you a little bit of context, give you a little bit of in some way, some new ways to potentially trade these assets and an overview of the market. This is an opportunity, and in some ways for me, it feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity to make some serious money. The fact is that for me, Bitcoin and crypto is something that is more than just an asset to trade. This is about community. This is about innovation. This is about, for me, it's about the future. A lot of people say, well, what's going to happen? The governments are going to bring in regulation and actually stop crypto. I just don't believe it. First of all, Bitcoin is $1 trillion asset. Perhaps when it gets to 10 trillion, these things will change and perhaps governments will become more interesting. But you've got to remember that governments need stimulus. They're pumping money into these economies to devalue currency, to boost things like equities. They want to stimulate growth in the economy. They want people to spend. Well, at the moment, what asset are most people making money from? Well, it's crypto. You make your money on crypto. You increase your wealth. At some point, you're going to spend that in the market. At some point, that's going to be taxed. So actually, from my perspective, I think crypto is a real positive for many governments around the world. But what's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen over the next week, 2 weeks, month, a year? Are we going to see things increase? Well, you don't need just my simple opinion on this. Yes, we trade within Sage Strategies, Bitcoin, and we trade Ethereum, we trade gold. And if you want to trade and increase your wealth on autopilot, perhaps talk to one of the Sage team. But these are the key things that people look for when they're looking to decide, am I bullish or am I bearish cryptos? Let's get into this. So when we get into analyzing the market, there are a number of ways that we can do that. A lot of people just hear what other people say and dive straight in. And clearly, right now, and certainly over the last few months, it doesn't really matter what altcoin you'd have traded or what you'd listened to, you'd have probably made money, which is a real positive, but also could be quite dangerous if you feel that is how the market is going to continue. The second option is you can use technical analysis. You could use ways, for example, moving averages, pivot points, whatever your preference is. You could use those to try and pick pullbacks, breakouts, whatever you choose, targets, stops, etc. I'm not going to go into the detail of either of those. What I'm going to try and do is trying to give you a new view of the market and some of the information that's out there that's just not available in markets like FX or gold, which actually could give you a real advantage. Now, within crypto, there's something called Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law is relating to the network effect. The network effect is that the more people that join, the more it will go up. And when I say Bitcoin, I mean any kind of cryptocurrency. So the first thing that I'd be interested in if I was looking at this market to determine, has this got longevity? Is it bullish right now? Is it likely to be bullish over the next 6 months? Is to look at the amount of people that are coming to the market and opening wallets and looking to deposit money into those wallets. And so if we look specifically at that, we can see that over time, and this is the orange line, that as people increase the amount of wallets, we can see a direct relationship to price increasing over time. As people start not using those wallets or closing those wallets, or we see a drop in that increase, the market goes down or in some ways consolidates. As we see it coming back up, the market starts rising. Again, yes, we can see a bit of a drop off here, but actually it's still within trend. And therefore I would say that Bitcoin is absolutely bullish. Now, it doesn't mean it couldn't have a pullback. And in fact, even where the market position is, it could still have a pullback to say 30,000. And this would be a normal correction. For me, Bitcoin is something that is absolutely here to stay. And it's something that could easily get to 5 times what it is currently by the end of this year. If we look more detail at the amount of wallets, we can see a clear trend up. And again, this is the early stages of crypto. And although you and I may be in it for some time, most of the market aren't in it. And more the people start adapting and starting getting involved, the more and more price is going to go up. You've got to remember that obviously it's a commodity, it's not a currency. We have limited supply, so price will go up. I think if we look at the big investors, these are people that hold more than 1,000 Bitcoin, and we look at them, and I mean, that's $55 million on today's price. We can see that as Bitcoin increases, these number of addresses that hold that kind of quantity increases. When Bitcoin really pumps, these guys actually start selling. They do that because they don't want to disturb the price. They want to sell into liquidity, and therefore they reduce their amount of holdings when the price goes up. But equally, as price goes up, they start going back into the market. And more recently, we've seen this drop down, which again would suggest bullish behavior within Bitcoin. So one of the most exciting ways to actually look at what Bitcoin's doing in the market is to look at how much money people have actually on exchange. Because if you have it on exchange, it means you're looking to trade it, whether you're going to buy, whether you're going to sell, but you're going to trade it. If you take it off exchange, it shows your intention is to hold it, to make sure that you don't trade it, and therefore it's a fairly bullish sign. If we look at all exchanges right now across the board, we can see that actually the orange line is falling. People are taking huge amounts off exchange to actually hold it, which means, again, this is very bullish for price. If we then look at this in a little bit more detail, we can see on here that the green spikes basically show money coming onto exchange. And bear in mind, that could be buying or selling, but it's going onto exchange. The red spikes show money coming off exchange. So if we look at this, money comes onto exchange and we see a drop, a decline in price. Money comes off exchange, and so it comes on, then off, and we see a good push up. And again, we see the same patterns across the board. So this is actually with Bitstamp, which hasn't got so much volume compared to, say, Coinbase, but we can see it very clearly. Big red spike, big push up. If we look at something like Coinbase, which is generally the market kind of standard, I guess, we can see exactly the same. Big green, and we drop. We see some reds. We see bullish action, reds, bullish action. And again, you can see here that we're seeing a lot of money coming off exchange, which again is very bullish for Bitcoin. Another really good way to understand what's going on in the market is to look at hash ribbons. This is when miners divert their computers to mining Bitcoin. So they choose that Bitcoin is the thing that's going to go up. So they want to put all their computing power into mining Bitcoin rather than, say, for example, an alternative coin. We know that when they do this, this is clearly bullish for the market. So we want to know when they turn those computers on. Here within this chart, you can see every time the red line appears, this is when computer power is being diverted to Bitcoin. And you can very clearly see that when miners turn that diversion on, we can see bullish action in the market. We can see a red line here, which is right now. And if we drill down right now, we can see that line, which again is very bullish for Bitcoin. So another thing that I really like to look at is seasonality. Seasonality is information that's taken over the whole time of the existence of that asset. And we look at patterns within that over a period of the same time every year. And we look at whether there's any pattern there to see whether there's any kind of seasonal advantage to trade something. Bitcoin has an 80% chance of going up between now and the end of May. Bitcoin obviously is related to dollar, and therefore we do need to consider that. And strangely enough, dollar is actually looking to go up too, which means you have that adverse effect. So you'd expect that to have an impact on Bitcoin. But we've seen from the other seasonality chart, that just simply hasn't been the case. And certainly from what I've already shown you, it looks pretty bullish for Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to go up today, tomorrow. It doesn't mean it's going to have a correction. We're talking sort of mid to long term, Bitcoin's going to go up. Personally, I'd probably look at your technicals to make sure that you get the right entry point of when you want to go into Bitcoin. Let's look at some alternatives to Bitcoin. The leader of the alt market is obviously Ethereum, and Ethereum is incredibly bullish. Looking again at number of addresses, we can see the blue line, addresses going up and prices going up. We can see this period of consolidation, and we can see a period of consolidation. You've seen a big spike up, which is massively bullish for Ethereum. If we look again at addresses that hold more than 10,000 Ethereum, exactly the same pattern. As people sell off, price goes up. We've seen this huge buying spike, which again is incredibly bullish for Ethereum. If we also look at wallets, and we can see on exchange, again, people are taking money off exchange for Ethereum, incredibly bullish for Ethereum. And again, if we look at the actual detail of that, we can see some massive red spikes where people are taking money off exchange, which again, we'd expect to be very, very bullish. If we look at the two, Bitcoin and Ethereum, Ethereum is incredibly more bullish at the moment than Bitcoin. Also, if we look at the crypto market in general, we can see that actually this has grown immensely. If we look at people changing fiat currency into stablecoin to be able to use within the crypto market, now that could be to earn interest from some of the different companies out there that provide interest on stablecoin, really good interest, much better than bank interest. It could be, and more likely to be, because they're getting ready to use it on exchange, or it could be that they've actually sold their crypto and put it back into stablecoin. But we can see this is USDC, which is Coinbase stablecoin. We can see from January it was basically zero within the market. We've grown to nearly 11 billion. This market absolutely is the future, and so if you're not in it, this is the time to look at it. You're not too late. There's still massive opportunities in this market. In fact, Bitcoin is a $1 trillion asset, but actually all the other alternative coins, including Ethereum, are really catching up. In fact, if we look at this, Bitcoin had a dominance in the market of over 70%. That's now reduced to 50%. Now, for me, that gives strength to this whole market again, because it shows that people are coming in, they're collaborating, they're building, they're using the technology to innovate, and this market is growing significantly. The fact that more than 50% now is in alternative coins is a real positive for the market. We can also see, when we look at Bitcoin dominance compared to Ethereum, we can see Ethereum breaking out. Now, Ethereum is the absolute leader. It is the king of altcoins. So when we see that, it's not just Ethereum, it's altcoins in general should outperform Bitcoin. Ethereum should see 10, 20 times return this year. Bitcoin maybe a 5. Altcoins, which are highly volatile, far more risky, but actually should see significant more growth if you pick the right one. If you want to get into technicals, I quite like these kind of technicals to use. They're very simple. If you want some serious understanding of how to trade this market, then go to Sage Strategies. But these technical, simple pivots, we can see that Ethereum is very bullish. We're looking at about a 3,500 target in this current cycle. Whereas within Bitcoin, not so bullish, and actually it could drop to sort of the 30s. Equally, it could go up to 70,000. But out of the two, Ethereum is the one in my view. If you really want to take advantage of the volatility in the market, but manage that in such a way that you protect your capital through good risk management, and you want to go beyond the human limitations and actually embed intelligent instincts into your trading, then do consider Sage Strategies. We have the software, the education, and the strategies. It's completely transparent, and over the last 6 months, we've had incredible returns. Check us out. Thank you.
All right, guys. So there we have it. Crypto Nut #1 done and dusted. Hopefully you learned a ton of stuff in there. I know I did. And we've got more coming as well. So Nathan will be up again next month. And we've got some other amazing guys in the crypto space coming on here to share with you their knowledge. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit like. And then click on that little bell and click all so you get notified when these things drop in the future. All right. See you in the next one.